Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping or wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So we're talking about how to wholesale properties listed on the MLS. So not so easy to wholesale them. Now, I do buy properties occasionally. Oh, first of all, what's the MLS? The MLS is multiple listing service. That means the system that every realtor uses to post their properties. Now, a couple of things. First of all, if something's listed on the MLS, it usually is not going to be something I'm going to buy at mother. 1 second. Grace, can you give me 10 minutes? I'll call you right back. Thanks. Sorry. So I have bought properties that were listed on the MLS. Very, very few and far between. If a seller calls me and says, "Hey, my property's listed for $600,000, for $400,000, whatever the hell it is," I say to them first thing, and my cold caller says this, and my leads manager says this. They say, "Listen, we're in the three magic sentences that I love, right? We're investors. We have to buy properties at a discount to make money. Doesn't sound like we're a good fit." Now, if they say after that, "No, I want you to come see it anyway," that's magic words. That's great. So what happened, I'd say about 6 months ago, seller called me, had the property listed. It was listed for $699. I said to her, "You don't need me. You should just drop the listing to $599. That's really what it's worth. It's worth about between $550 and $600. She said, "No, I want you to come." Now, when they say that, that means there's something they don't want to talk about on the phone, something they don't want to express to you. When I got there, there was like some unpermitted additions that they thought was a problem. I was able to make good money on the deal. I ended up buying it for $450. Now, more importantly is this the right light? That's not more importantly, but yeah, that was the right light. So more importantly, can you wholesale the deal? It's very, very hard to wholesale it. Very hard. Once it's on the MLS, any potential buyer that you're going to send it to is going to see it. So let's do a few scenarios. Let's say it's listed for $400,000 and the seller calls you like in this situation I just gave you and says, "I'll sell it to you for $200,000. You can put it out to your list for $300,000. You can, right? But they're all going to know what the hell is going on, okay? But more likely what's going to happen is that it's listed very low. So let's say in that situation, it was listed for $200,000. You're going to buy it for $190 and you want to wholesale it for $250. Most buyers, cash buyers, are not going to come in and buy something above what the asking price is. Most buyers don't want, including me, I don't want things that are listed on the MLS. I look at that as like a red ocean. I forgot what book it was. Red Ocean, where there's sharks killing each other. And I want to operate in an area where it's off market. And when I first started, I didn't really understand that. And a lot of buyers, when I was new to wholesaling, said to me, "I only want off market properties. Don't give me anything on the market." And now I understand it, because people give me these deals and I'm not interested in them. Is 1 out of 1,000 a deal? Maybe. But when you're talking direct to sellers and you're locking up properties at a discount, it's a much easier situation. So can you wholesale properties on the MLS? Possible, but more likely you're going to have to close on it. Once you close on it and you do something to it, then you can put it back on the MLS for a retail buyer. Or you can put it back on the MLS for a cash buyer. You have options. But remember, let's talk about wholesaling. I defined MLS, I didn't define wholesaling, I apologize. Wholesaling is getting a property under contract and then assigning that contract to another buyer. Usually, almost always a cash buyer. Another investor is going to do the work or is going to fix it up to rent. Now, to wholesale something, that buyer is going to have all public information at their fingertips. They're going to see it. So it's very hard for you to then find a buyer to pay more than what's asking. Even if asking is super low. It's possible, but you're probably going to have to close on it. Now, understand, closing in New York can be expensive. In the example I gave you before, I closed on something. I think it cost me 50, 60 grand to close on it, right? Closing costs on the buyer are going to be around 10 grand. Closing costs on the sell could be 15 grand. You're going to have holding costs. If you're borrowing money, I borrow money a lot on my buys. You have interest, you have taxes, you have utilities, upkeep. If anything breaks, you got to fix it. These are just things that cost. It's very common for me, even if I buy something, to wholesale, right? And just to define wholesale, it means I buy something, I do no work or almost no work to it, and then put it back on the market. It can cost me 50, 60 grand for that, depending on what the prices are, what the prices that I buy it at. So that's why you need a big spread, right? When I wholesale, I usually look for at least $100,000 spread, usually. So can you do it? Yes, but it brings with it a lot of difficulties. It brings difficulties on both sides. It brings difficulties on the buy side and it brings difficulty on the sell side. On the buy side, when you're buying it, you have a seller who's usually asking too much money, right? In today's market, if a property is not selling, it's listed on the MLS, it's only not selling for one reason. And people think when I say this, their head explodes. The only reason it's not selling is because the price is too high. That's it. In our market, where there is incredible amount of people looking for properties, land has value here. The only reason that it's not selling is because it's priced too high. Now, you may say, what if it's in horrible condition? What if it's no one has access? What if it's in a terrible location? It doesn't matter. There is a price for it. If it's not selling, I mean, I'll buy properties sight unseen if the price is right. And I do. I bought many properties sight unseen if the price is right. So the price is not right. So that's their anchor. That's the number they're trying to get. Maybe trying to get close to it, but they think that that's what it's worth. So you have to buy it at a discount. So if, let's say they're asking $400,000, the price might be worth $200,000. It's very, very rare that someone's going to say, okay, I'm going to give you a 50% discount. Very rare. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's hard because they're price anchored high, and you need to be well below that, right? Because that is not the value. The value is less than that, right? They're asking 400, it's probably worth 300, but you got to pay 250 to make any money on it, 200. So that's the problem on the buy side. The second, also, if it's listed as an agent, and agents are very reluctant to even pass on offers, even though there's their duty to, their fiduciary responsibility to pass on offers they consider very low. Now, agents want to make deals, and agents are not bad people. They're just very often misguided or ignorant, and don't understand that having I just had a situation like this. This agent called me and said, I got a house in Levittown for $500,000. Oh, by the way, there's a non-cooperative tenant and it's in horrible condition. Well, I'm like, that's not worth $500,000 in horrible condition that I can't even see how bad the condition is. I can't even get inside, and I got to worry about evicting a tenant. Like, agents don't get it. Well, what they wanted the guidance from me. What is it worth? It's worth a lot less, right? There's a lot less, right? It might be worth 500 or a little more if it's vacant and in good condition. So agents don't understand that very often, and that's fine. They don't operate most of them don't operate in our world. So that's the buy side problem. And the sell side problem is what I told you earlier, that you're going to have a situation where someone's going to look at it and say, you're asking $300,000, things listed on the market for $200,000. Now, sometimes if it's listed much higher, then maybe, but they still want to know what's going on, and they don't like it. I don't like it, and they don't like it. I mean, I buy properties from wholesalers too. So you have problems on both sides when something is listed on the MLS. It's very hard to wholesale it. It is possible to buy it at a good price. So I bought properties that were listed on the MLS like the day they came out. I'm like, this thing is a screaming buy. I'm like, I want it today. I don't want an open house. I only want to see it. I'll give you the asking price. Let's just go to contract this afternoon. I've done that, right? And I've done properties where, there was just some kind of issue. No one could get in, and it was priced high, but I said, I'll pay, I was the only offer because I was willing to buy it without getting in. It happens, but it's what I see a lot of people, a lot of newbies coming into this market is they say, I'm looking on MLS. Do not waste your time on the MLS. Can I pause this? Is that possible? I'm going to let that go to voicemail. So you are fishing in an ocean with sharks and with a lot of people other fishing there. You've got to, and people don't like to do this, right? Because it's hard. It's hard going direct to seller. You have to buy a list. You have to skip trace a list. You've got to deal with a tremendous amount of rejection. Getting told to go screw yourself nonstop. But that is the way that you build this business. You go direct to seller. You build up leads. You go on appointments. You make offers. Phone appointments if you want to do it virtually, but appointments, offers, those things turn into deals. That's just how it works. I went to an appointment this Sunday for someone who we sent a text to 9 months ago. And now she said it was time. Now, I don't know if I'm going to buy the house. I made an offer. I don't know if I'm going to buy the house. I may not. But I hope I do. But the point is, you got to put those offers out there. You got to market constantly and be doing it a lot, right? And what I hear all the time is, I sent out a mailing, I didn't get any results. I made calls, I didn't get any results. This is not a one and done kind of situation. Marketing is only built by momentum. You have to continue doing it, even when you don't like it. And the problem is in our area, in New York, that everything takes so long that you don't really know until a year if a channel is working or not. And that sucks, right? Mail is expensive, right? I'm spending many, many thousands of dollars a month on mail. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, and it takes hitting the same names, the same people multiple times. I try to hit people 4 ways. I try to RVM them, ringless voicemail. I try to call them. I try to text them, and I mail them. So I'm hitting people multiple ways, and I still have to. Sometimes people tell me I got your 8th postcard. That's what happens. So it's hard. It's not easy to. The real answer is it's very hard to wholesale properties on the MLS. You can buy properties and then either wholesale them or rehab them from the MLS. It's possible. Also harder, but wholesaling is hard. I hope this was helpful. Now, if you're interested in other ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in my course, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. If you are interested in coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any channel, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, please click like. The thumbs up really help me. And what else? Oh, keep the comments coming. So I've been answering a lot of comments lately. Any questions you have, ask me. If it's a simple answer, I'll just respond with an answer. If it's a topic that I've done, maybe handled in depth, I'll send you a link to the videos. I just sent somebody a link to a video today. And if it's a new topic or something I haven't covered lately, I'll do a video on it. So I really appreciate you watching. Please keep the comments coming. Thank you very, very much.